ओके सो आरडीबीएमएस रो आमे किछि रिकैप करबा जोटा कि प्रीवियस रे आमे पढिजे constraint. The constraint आमे जानचे constraint is used for checking the consistency and correctness of data. Checking the consistency and correctness of data so that we are using constraint. ए constraint भितरे गोटे अछि check constraint आ गोटे हला key constraint. तो आमे जो डिस्कशन करिया को जाउछे एटा होछि key constraint. तो constraint कोन करे आमे जहां भी वैल्यू डेटाबेस रे इंसर्ट करिवा it will first check whether our data is correct or not, and those are the value we trying to insert in a table. So these are the following the rules or not. That means what? In the age you cannot insert the name of a student. In age field you are not storing the alphanumerical value. The age रे केवल numerical value रही. So this kind of restriction you can give in the check constraint concept. Like whenever you're inserting the contact number, so your contact number is a 10-digit number. So if anybody trying to insert more than that number, so it's showing you here. And after that, another thing it will check that when you are inserting any record in a table, it will maintain the uniqueness. There is no any kind of duplicacy present inside the table. So that we are defining what key constraint. So in the key constraint, we have primary key, foreign key, candidate key, alternate key, and composite key. So what is that first primary key? So I will take an example like when there is a elections, there is a lot of parties are present in 2024 elections. Okay, like Narendra Modi is what contesting. At that timing, Rahul Gandhi is contesting for the prime minister. And similar way, Aam Aadmi Party, Kejriwal is also contesting. The similar way for the CPM, so there is a India alliance is there. They are they're contesting. Before we are giving a vote, we call this person as a candidate for the primary key or candidate for the prime minister. But actually, they are not prime minister. They are the face. We have to evaluate or you have to select on the basis of their performance, and we are giving a vote and we select one person as a prime minister. Similar way, when you are creating a table, there is a lot of columns are present. Like sometimes you are getting when you are creating a student table, you have student roll number, you have your contact number, and you have the registration number. So which one is giving you more uniqueness and which value you have to put, then you are getting your accurate information from a college, like your contact number, yeah, your registration number, yeah, your roll number. I'm talking about a college. I'm not talking about is a roll number. I'm talking about a college. If you want to check your what are the mark you are getting in an internal mark, in a happy yearly mark, so you are asking for your roll number. But when I want to search your board exam result, then the two thing is required. Your registration number is required, and the roll number is given by the council. That is also required. Two thing is required. By getting one number, it is not showing you the record. Okay, so see that roll number is required in the college, but in the case of council, it is required the two things like your roll number and your registration number. When the situation is different, the data is also different, and for getting your accurate data, the column is different. Okay, when you want to get your account details, so person is asking for your register contact number or your account number. And if you are using credit card, then they ask for the credit card number. So from that credit card number, from that your mobile number, register mobile number, they're getting all the information or your balance or all the transaction that you have done with the bank. So when the situation has changed, similar way for getting the unique value, your data is also changing. तो आमे सबु जगह कही परिबानी जे आमे कांटेक्ट नंबर टाको प्राइमरी की नबा कि रोल नंबर टाको प्राइमरी की नबा कि मो ना टाको मो प्राइमरी की ने सिचुएशन वाइज एटा डिफरेंट रहयो. तो सो बेस्ड अपॉन दैट जेतेबेले आमे चूज करबा इन टेबल देयर आर लॉट ऑफ कॉलम्स आर प्रेजेंट and in between this column which column is more appropriate for getting the unique value, those are eligible for getting the unique value, so those are the called as the candidate key. And when you choose one column as a primary key, other most appropriate column it becomes the alternate key. Like in your political system, one party is ruling and another party is on opposition. Now in Odisha, BJP is ruling and BJD is on opposition. In previous election, it changes. So here, before you are choosing the primary key, all the key those are eligible for the primary key. That is called the alternate key. बुझिएला ना बुझिएला नहीं. Once you choose one column as a primary key, other becomes alternate key. Then composite key. Sometimes what happened? One election party is not getting what much more votes or much more seats. Okay, so for giving a government, like in India, 275 seats are there. So any party 270 or 375? Huh? 275, no? 275. In 275, in earlier, the BJP government has all the seats. But now in this term, they're not getting that kind of seats. That they're losing 10 seats. So they have to alliance with the other party. NDA. Okay, so Bihar, what else is there? The party. Nitish Kumar said the alliance kale. And they having an alliance with the AIDMK or DMK party like Chandrababu Naidu. Okay, so after alliancing, then they are getting a what majority. Okay, and they are ruling. But at that time, Congress is also trying. But after the India alliances, they are not getting that kind of what majority to make a government. So at last, NDA government is taking the majority and is ruling. But it is called as the NDA government. It is not called as the BJP government. In previous term, it is called as the BJP government. So that all the rules are passed at that time. The similar way, what happened? Why I am telling that kind of thing? Sometimes happen that when you are giving your roll number, you are not getting your accurate result. When I am giving your roll number and registration number, then I get your result. मते रोल नंबर दबा को पड़िबो, मते रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर दबा को पड़िबो, तापर मु कोन करि परिबी ना मु एक्यूरेट रिजल्ट पाई परिबी. ओके, सपोज गोटे एक्सीडेंट हला. ओके, पृथ्वी को के गला को बाडेले देखो, कॉलेज भीतर बाडे ताको नेकी काजुअलिटी रे पकई देबे. ओके, तो काजुअलिटी रे गले पृथ्वी रे कृष्णा रे गले काजुअलिटी खोजला पृथ्वी कुआडे गला. से बाबू बेहोश हेकी पूरा पड़ी. मुह फो भी तार प्लास्टर हो जाइए एकाथरे के आखि खाली अच्छी से आखिरे ठार मारचले कहीं देखि पारना. ओके, सो एट दैट टाइमिंग दे समस्त कहि देले करे सी काजुअलिटी रे अछि, बट काजुअलिटी रे 200 बेड अछि. देन दे आर सर्चिंग फॉर दैट 200 बेड आरे कुआडे गला कुआडे गला. ओके, आ मुह रे प्लास्टर अछि तो पाइबेनी. से कहला रे भाई मु एठी अछि मते अनाथ करि पयो. कि जेतेबेले मु तार बेड नंबर जानि देबी, ज बेड नंबर 59 रे अछि, सो room number, suppose room number is 9 and bed number is 65, then I got the particular person. But if I know the only the room number, then I am not getting the particular person if there is more than one beds are available. So sometimes happen that one key or one column is not giving you the accurate result. You have to take the help of other columns. So when you are taking more than one column to get the accurate result, then we call as both column as a composite key. Both are the primary key, but together if you take, then it is called as the composite. बुझीगला ना कार अंडरस्टैंडिंग प्रॉब्लम वाला प्राइमरी की जोटा कि यूनिकली आइडेंटिफाई ईच रो इन ए टेबल रोल नंबर पकैली डाटा पाइली तो सेटा हला मोर प्राइमरी की alternate key जो candidate key before you are choosing the primary key, those are eligible for the primary key जो माने primary key हबार योग्यता अच्छे तांको हमें कहबा candidate for the primary key दीटा एमिति कलम ता भितर हमें बाछिबा जे गोटे मोर appropriate किंतु आ गोटे appropriate हेलानी जदी जस्ट गोटे परसेंट रे कटि गला तो सीए हे जीवो alternate key and when you are taking the help of both the columns to get the accurate result, then in that cases it is called as the composite. Got it? बुझियला? So any attribute that is uniquely identify row in a table is a candidate for the primary key. Such attribute is called as the candidate key. Attributes, or you can say it is a column. Any attribute that is a candidate for the primary key, but it is not a primary key, then it is called as the alternate key. Candidate for the primary key, but in the election is not getting the majority, but it is called as the alternate key, most appropriate column. When the key that is uniquely identify the row in the table made up of more than one attribute. So you are taking the combination of two columns for getting a one result, then in that cases it is called as the composite key. Okay, so write it. Primary key, alternate key, composite key. Candidate key, alternate key, and composite. And another thing I just skip, that is a foreign key. So foreign key is what? So it is create a parent and child relationship. In a one table, if you define one column as a primary key, okay, sometimes happen what? To getting a result, we have to combine we have to analyze the two table data. गोटे स्टूडेंट भल कि ना मु केमती जानिबी कॉलेज रे एबे तुमे आस्ते आस्ते कोन करूछ तुम पाखरे तुम कैरियर रा दुईटा टेबल एबे बनि जिवो one is your 10th another is your plus 2 so after that your btech or any bachelor degree certificate so when the interviewer is interviewing you so you will take the 3 mark sheet and analyzing what are the marks you are getting whether you are continuing in the same stream or not. If you are continuing in the same stream, what are the subject you have taken and in which subject you are more proficient. If you are working for the software company, they look for the mathematics, they look for the physics. Okay, if you are working for a chemical company, they searching for your honors, chemistry honors is there or not, or what about your chemistry mark in organic you are strong or not. The similar thing happen when we are analyzing. भलसे सुनो आगे सुनो तब लिखियो when you are analyzing if I want to analyze your career sector so I have to first check with your 3 marks so they are interlinked similar way in sum of time it is not sufficient to summarizing the report by analyzing one table मते समराइजिंगली गोटे रिपोर्ट बाहर करबा को हेले मते मोर देन वन टेबल को विजुअलाइजेशन करबा को पड़िबो से मोर देन वन टेबल को जतबे मु विजुअलाइजेशन करूची ताले मु कहा को विजुअलाइजेशन करिवि ना गोटे एमिति कलम रहिथिबा दरकार जो कलम माध्यम रे बा जो यूनिक नंबर माध्यम रे मु तुमरो सब डिटेल्स ता देखि परिबि तुमे जमी किनो तुमे सुना किनो तुमे दुनिया रे जहा जिंस किनो सब जक लिंक अप होची गोटे आधार कार्ड. So when anybody is choosing your Aadhaar card number and put that number in a database, so what are the purchases you have done throughout your life, it is all the thing it is showing you. And based upon that, सेठी कौन करिवे ना जो इनकम टैक्स वाला थिबे जदि अधिक कोडी घपलती करिके पैसा पत्र कमैछ सेठी धरिक नहीं कहबे भाई जे बहुत कमै देले बे जेल ले जा चकी दिस तो सेठी पई कोन करले ना आधार कार्ड टाको बैंक रे लिंक अप करले आधार कार्ड सुना किनिबारे मागुचंदी आधार कार्ड जमी किनिबारे लागुचंदी तो जेते बड़ बड़ जिंस किनिबा आधार कार्ड मागु गोटे स्त्री रखछ कि दुईटा स्त्री रखछ तीनटा स्त्री रखछ तादर भी जणाबो ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ନା? ସ୍ତ୍ରୀ ସ୍ତ୍ରୀ ୱାଇଫ, ବୁଝେ ମ୍ୟାରେଜ ସାର୍ଟିଫିକେଟ ତ ମୋର ଦେନ୍ ୱାନ୍ ମ୍ୟାରେଜ ସାର୍ଟିଫିକେଟ କରିଥାଉ। ଆଉ ଯଦି ତୁ ଇଲିଗାଲି ଏମିତି କରିଥାଉ ତା କିଛି କଥା ପତା ନଥାଏ, ଖାତା ଖତିଆନ ନଥିବ ତୋର ଯଦି। ଓକେ, ସୋ ଦ୍ୟାଟ ଇଜ ହ୍ୱାଟ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଏବେ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି, ମାନେ ବାହା ହଉଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କୁ ମର୍ଡର କରିଦଉଛନ୍ତି, ଇନ୍ସୁରାନ୍ସ ପଇସା ଆଣିକି ପକେଟରେ ପସଉଛନ୍ତି। ଏବେ ଆଧାର କାର୍ଡ ହେଲା ଧରା ପଡିଯାଉଛନ୍ତି। ଓକେ, ଆଗରୁ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଗୋଟେ ଟ୍ରେଣ୍ଡ ଚାଲିଥିଲା। Okay, so in a table, like suppose I purchase gold. When I purchase the gold, I give my Aadhaar card. Okay, so first thing I purchase gold. So gold re मोर सेटा primary key define है. When I purchase what land, then if I take gold as a primary key, Aadhaar in a gold table, if I take that Aadhaar card number is a primary key in a land table, it is considered as the foreign key. So when I gather all the information, so I refer the Aadhaar card number. So in Aadhaar card number, it is link up all the tables. मोर गोल्ड टेबल ले केते डाटा अछि, मोर लैंड टेबल ले केते डाटा अछि, मु केतेरा अकाउंट खोलिछि, केते फिक्स डिपॉजिट मारिछि, सब अकाउंट सहित से लिंक करिकि सब देखि गोटे। दैट मीन्स गोटे कॉलम टाको मु प्राइमरी की डिफाइन कली केतेबेले ना जतरा मु बैंक रे अकाउंट खोलुछि, I have given my Aadhaar card number. So that Aadhaar card number in the bank account, it is called as the primary key, and that Aadhaar card number is linked up with the all the records, and in all the records it is considered as the foreign key. So if you want to get the record from more than one table, in primary table, if you define one column as a primary key, in the secondary table, it is called as the foreign key. If you want to relate one table to with the other table, जदि मु गोटे टेबल सहित आ गोटे टेबल को रिलेट करबा को चाहूची, तो से सेक्टर रे गोटे टेबल रो जो आधार कार्ड नंबर अछि ताको जदि मु प्राइमरी की डिफाइन करूची, अदर टेबल ले से आधार कार्ड नंबर टाको फॉरेन की बोली कुहा जीवो। बुझियला? तो सेते बेले ताको फॉरेन की बोली कुहा जीवो। एबे तीनटा लेख तापर प्राइमरी की फॉरेन की ता तुम डाकी दियो। Primary key, what is the primary key? Primary key is a column or set of column. Primary key is a column or set of column that uniquely identifies that uniquely identifies each row. That uniquely identifies each row. Next one. The two main characteristics the two main characteristics of primary key, it contains unique value it contains unique value and it must not be null and it must not be null and it must not be null. Okay, so null hobo nahi. Unique key primary key ভিতরে difference কোন? Unique key uniquely identify each row in a table. কিন্তু primary key uniquely identify each row in a table but it doesn't accept the null value. কিন্তু ଯେତେବେଳେ ମତେ null value କୁ accept କରିବାର ଅଛି ତାହେଲେ ମୁଁ unique key define କରିପାରିବି. ତ unique key primary key ଭିତରେ difference ହଉଛି unique accept the null value, primary key doesn't accept the null value. Okay, ଏବେ heading the foreign key. A foreign key is a column. A foreign key is a column or set of columns in one table that links links to the primary key in another table, creating a relationship between them. See that here I am creating a two table, table 1 and table 2. In table 1, I have student ID. In table 2, I have also student ID. In table 1, it contains name and address. And here, if you consider in the table 2, it is a contact number and a mark. Now what happened? Student ID and student ID column is same, but I want to keep relate with the table 1 with the table 2. So is it relate to each other? Answer is no. Why? Now in table 1, in student ID column, there is a data is present on 1 and 2. And in table 2, it is 3 and 4. So what is the rule? I am saying that if you want to relate with one table to the another table, so there is a common column is present. But here common column is present, but when you analyze, the data is not same. So when you want to declare one table column as a primary key, when that table column is present in the first table, so first check that whether the second table, uh, which column you want to put as a foreign key, that data is a subset of table 1. মানে এଠି যদি 3 রহিতান্তা তাহলে তুমি এটাকে প্রাইমারি কি এটাকে ফরেন কি ডিফাইন করি পারতান্ত মানে जो টেবলটাকে তুমি ফরেন কি ডিফাইন করিব সে টেবলর সেই কলমটা ফার্স্ট টেবলর जो কলম সহিত তুমি जो প্রাইমারি কি করিବାକୁ চাহুছ সেই ডাটাটাকে তুমি তার সবসেট হইতিবা দরকার মানে সেই ভ্যালুটা এটি রহিতিবা দরকার তাহলে তুমি কলমটাকে প্রাইমারি কি ফরেন কি তুমি ডিক্লেয়ার করি পারিব যদি সবসেট নাই তাহলে আমি ডিক্লেয়ার করি পারিবা নাই বুঝিলা কি নাই যদি 1 1 3 4 ଅଛି তাহলে আমি এটি করি পারিব তাহলে এটা প্রাইমারি কি ফরেন কি হেই পারিব বুঝিলা কি নাই নহলে আমি প্রাইমারি কি ফরেন কি দেই পারিবা নাই এটি এরর আছে ওকে so based upon this we move to our another topic that is called as the database transaction very important topic and interesting one. So comes to the next part, transaction, which actually the chapter content that is transaction. So before that, whatever the thing I discussed, that is a prerequisite of this chapter or for getting the knowledge on the database. The transaction is what? What do you mean by transaction? Not theoretical. I'm asking any idea, that common idea you have. Yes, very good. Huh? अच्छा तू हिंदी रे कहला तो इंग्लिश रे कहला तुम्हें मते पेमेंट कला फोन पे रे किंतु तुमर कटि गला पैसा किंतु मोर आसिलानी then in that sector it is a transaction or not? No, it is a transaction. So it is a transaction. Huh? Partially committed अलगा ये तो ठीक है एबे partially committed आडको भी क्यों जाइनी what is that? It is not a transaction. Transaction means when you send the money, your money has deducted and my money is increased with the same amount, then it is called a transaction. पहुंचलानी हेलानी सर मोर तो कटै मो कौन तो एमती आम समस्ते काटि था सी कपड़ा धरी बोल था ओके ट्रांजैक्शन मीन्स तुम जो पैसा पठेब तो सेटा मो पाखु जदि सक्सेसफुल हैला मो पाखु आसिला ताले देखिबे ट्रांजैक्शन कंप्लीट जदि ताबे नल बेले बेले कम प्रोसेसिंग रे पड़ी जाए 24 घंटा पर देखा दे ओके so transaction is actually like that okay so what actually in the technically it means a database transaction is a single logical unit of work ଯେମିତି କହିଲେ ଲେନ ଦେନ डेबिट क्रेडिट इट इज ए लॉजिकल यूनिट मोर जनकर डेबिट हम आउ जनकर क्रेडिट है इज द टू थिंग वन इज inserted another is deleted one is increasing another is decreasing but when we join together it is called as a transaction. It is a logical work, and it is a logical unit of work that consists of one or more database operations, such as which kind of operation you have to include in the transaction, that is read, write, update and delete. When you want to insert the record in a table, you are writing insert into table name then value, insert into table name then value. So you just select it and go for transaction, insert record, again select, then insert record. ओके ये हेले कौन होची मु तुमको कहि पांचटा इटा आण थर्ड फ्लोर को आनिबो थरे जीवो गोटे इटा आनिबो आउ थरे जीवो आउ थरे इटा आनिबो आउ थरे जीवो आउ थरे इटा आनिबो 10 थर जीवो बेहोस की पड़ी किंतु सेठी मु जदी आइडिया लगेबी कोन मते 10टा इटा आनिबार अछि मु कोन करबी गोटे टोकेई हो किबा हमर जो बाल्टी हो तादरे जदी नै आसीबी तले हे जीवो थरकरे पळे आसो न दिथरे पळे आसो तो 10 थर जीवा अपेक्षा मु दिथर रे एका सगरे सब जिंस नै पळे मुझे 10 थर डाटा को इंसर्ट करूची इट विल टेक द टाइमिंग एंड ट्रांजैक्शन विल इंक्रीजेस database is busy and always the operation is happening. So when I want to insert the record in a table, that is more than one record is present, so I'm not inserting one by one one by one. I put all the records in a transaction and just give a one click, then data is inserted, lakhs of data is inserted. Okay, it is not like that. I have to insert one by one, one by one, one by one. It will take time. Okay. So to ensure the data integrity, a transaction must be atomic, meaning it either complete all the operations successful or none. Okay, either you have to complete all the transaction, you are paying, I am receiving, transaction complete. But when you pay, I am not receiving, it is not complete. That means the operation is rolled back, means it is happened like that, the money that is deducted from your account, it is again reversed after 24 hours. Okay, and you are paying money in a number, but that number is not exist in the phone pay, but your money is deducted, but after that it will reverse because that number is not linked up with any bank. Okay, so it either complete all the operations successful or none of them are effect, or it is called the rollback. Rollback means entire transaction is again come to the undo stage. Okay, this is all or nothing. Either do all the thing or nothing. Approach is crucial for maintaining consistency even in the event of system failure or concurrent access. Sometimes happen that you are working in a database and that time the database or current has gone or the server is corrupted or server is like overload. So at that timing, what about your transaction? Server corrupted, ODGO server. Okay, so big billions day. Okay, iPhone 17 in 1700 rupees. देखिया संभाली परियो सर्वर मरीजिव एते रिक्वेस्ट आसीबो एते ऑर्डर आसीबो सर्वर से जो ट्रांजैक्शन गोटे समय हम बैंक ट्रांजैक्शन एते ट्रांजैक्शन हम तो सर्वर कैन नॉट हैंडल इट so that the thing is happening. So when the first big billion days there in your Flipkart जब लॉन्च होला तो फर्स्ट बिग बिलियन डे ऑफर इंडियंस मानको देला एते एते रिक्वेस्ट पठेले से इमेजिन कर पेलन जे एते रिक्वेस्ट आसी तापटू सी रेडी थिला फास्ट वर्ष सी आउ सप्लाई दे पारलानी 5 दिन बंद हो गला तापर डेटाबेस पुनी ता पूर्व पोजीशन को आसीला तापर आस्ते आस्ते ऑर्डर देला तापर वर्ष सी रेडी बिग बिलियन से फास्ट वर्ष डेटाबेस करप्ट so from the figure how the transaction started, the transaction is first begin, then transaction is active. When it is partially committed means ମୁଁ ଦେଇଦେଲି କିନ୍ତୁ ଆସିଲାନି roll back failed abort then end. Okay, active, then you are giving a payment. When you are giving a payment the blue line is ticking phone पे हुए ना से जो गोटे लाइन टाइम एपट सेपट होतो हाँ तुम ठिया हब तापर साउंड आसो partially committed then committed then end. If it is partially committed but the in the opposite party is not having any kind of account or there is a network issue then it is failed abort mission abort then end. Huh? क्लोज में abort mission abort पूरा क्लोज आज आज का दिन ट्रांजेक्शन हबन तो तू जाते से आसियो पुणी पूर्व पोजिशन को आसियो माने तू दूर दूर गया थो जंदी रनर्स माने माने दौड़ी की जाती मझे आस से मजा से ना आइदर डेगी जीव ना ना रन आउट घर पड़ो आइदर पहुंची जीव ट्रांजेक्शन कंप्लीट कर ना ना एक आउट घर पड़ो सोधिकी जीव तो देखा जाऊनी तरतर कहीं ओके सो दिस इज दैट थिंग माने मझे जोटा रन आउट हुन एटा हूँ पार्शियली कमिटेड देन फेल्ड देन अबॉर्ट देन एंड. So this is how actually the transaction is happened. So active means in this state the transaction is being executed. This is the initial state of the every transaction. सब transaction ना इटा first phase था. Partially committed when the transaction executes is final operation it is said to be the partial committed state. माने ready steady ये पूरा steady खाली go खाली से पड़े पहुंच जाओ. Okay. Failed means a transaction is said to be in a failed state if any of the check made by the database recovery system failed. Okay, so when it is started, so at that timing, when it is started, some kind of issues is happened, then it is failed. Abort means if any of the check fails of the transaction has reached the failed state. तार सब checking हबो checking भीतर से देखा major issue अछि then आजी भाई हबनी चलो फेल हेले हेई पारिबो किंतु आबट हेले आउ हेई परिबो हठात कर्फ्यू लागि गला बस 2 टका पठौतला जो गुपचुप खाई पैसा पठौतला कर्फ्यू लागि गला इंटरनेट पळेला बस आ करियनी ओके मु तळे अवस्था हैला मु रोल मगे देछि तापर पेमेंट करछि सेतला कर्फ्यू लागि इंटरनेट बंद बुलुची ओके सी बुलुची से भी पाउने okay so has reached failed state then the recovery manager rolls back all its right operation so jaha purvuru heitila taku roll back kariyo roll back means again it is coming to the previous state so roll back its right operation on the database to bring the database to the original state so aguru jaha thila se original state ku nei asibo abort state the transaction in this state are called as the aborted. The database recovery module can select one or two operation after the transaction is abort. The transaction abort hobo se abort re either gote transaction ko pura complete incomplete karibo na dita transaction ko incomplete karibo. Committed means if the transaction execute all its operations successfully. Mu paisa patheli se paisa paila transaction close then outhre paisa patheli. Okay, so if a transaction execute all its operations successfully, it is said to be committed. All its effects are now permanently established on the database system. तो मुझे database पठे देले permanently मोर minus है गला, तार permanently plus है गला, transaction close. तारे मुझे receive नहीं करूँ. Okay, so these are the actually the phases of the transaction. Okay, इधर 3 मार्क रे गोटे क्वेश्चन आसीबो. रेकॉर्ड पटे लिखि दबो ना नेक्स्ट क्लास.